morning, everyone. Welcome again to one of the Go Digital series, which is part of the Emerge program, which is helping the startups and SMEs struggling due to COVID in educate, grow, and scale phase. This program, organized by TiE Singapore, is supported by google.org in collaboration with YBI. Today, we have a very interesting topic. Our topic is building efficient workforce, and our speaker is Yife. Yife is an apps technical specialist, Admob at Google. She is an apps technical specialist currently working to help apps publishers who are monetizing with Google to resolve their problems. Prior to this, she was part of the Google Cloud team, where she engaged with customers to transform their team digitally. She is a technology enthusiast who loves to explore ways to increase work efficiency and getting things done in non-conventional ways. Today, she's going to discuss about actionable insights to improve productivity and leveraging Google Workspace tools to achieve more in your daily workspace. Yife, over to you.
Thanks, Sidhi, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen now. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the introduction, Sidhi. And thanks everyone for taking some time to spend the evening with me after a long day of work. And I will skip my introduction since Sidhi has done a good job of like introducing my my background. So over the years where I've been spending most of my time utilizing like various tools for my work, either like at work or personally using Gmail, the majority of which is actually based on Google Workspace tools, and which is still known as G Suite to some of you. It's back then we call them G Suite, and this is something that I will be covering with all of, and discuss with all of us today. And I think for why this topic in the first place, I believe most of us have been impacted by COVID a lot, and changing our work and lifestyle together with all the remote working arrangement, with most of the companies now moving forward towards to a more flexible and remote working arrangement. So how are we adapting better to it? And that's why today I've consolidated a few tricks and tips that I've came across useful to me personally over time, and then to share with you on how we can increase the productivity either as an individual or employee, or even if you're a manager, how we can collaborate together as a team. So before I start, I want to share, like, if you have questions, do drop the questions that you have in the Q&A, and we will address them all together at the end of the presentation. So I will cover through all the contents first, and we will come to your questions later. All right? And maybe many of you are feeling the same as me. This is what I was suffering from. Like, do you feel like you're having like endless email games all the time? Like every day we are receiving a lot of emails, replying a lot of emails, and it's just never ending. And also like with all this information overflow, like documents, slides, emails coming in and chats coming in, all these are having like we are so having like a lot of difficulties to organize them with large amounts of information. Or do you feel like your day-to-days are actually filled up by the meetings? And sometimes I do feel like some of the days I felt my full-time job is actually like just as a meeting attendees. So how we can like take email, for example, how we can be more effective and then cover all this information that comes in. So before, like usually before the night, right, I would end my days with 0 inbox and celebrate a little bit, give myself a pat on the back, and then go to sleep. But after waking up, I will be welcomed by 200 new unread emails. So that's quite a very exciting days to start. And that's why in these sessions today, I'm not trying to get rid of all the emails. I'm not trying to get rid and escape from all the overwhelming information, but how we can keep everything, but at the same time to focus on what we need at the right time. And secondly, to reduce like sometimes on some of the routine works and use some of the technical know-hows and how of the like some of the keyboard shortcuts and tips and tricks to make and reduce our time on these tasks, MNO tasks. And third, how we can organize better on either our personal data or organize our time better, or how to read and prioritize better for the information that we need. And before I want to start to talk about Google Workspace too, I want to introduce some of the shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts. If you are using very heavily on Chrome or other browsers in your day-to-day work especially, so some of these might come in handy and some of these you might know already. And I want to introduce one of it, which is reopening last Chrome tab. So if you are like me, open up like 20 tabs at the same time, and suddenly I accidentally close one of them, and or like a bunch of them, but I couldn't remember what are the URLs that I was using them for. So you can quickly press on Command Shift and T, and then that will reopen the last closed tab. Or I also include like if you are using Windows or Chrome OS as well, you just replace the command with Control, and it will bring up the last tab and subsequently one another. So if you lost the third last that you closed, then you can press a few times. And second, incognito window. No, this is not something that you can prevent your employees from knowing like what website you serve, but rather this actually is a great tool for you to test on websites or new links that is not tied or connected to the logged in account that you are having. So for example, I want to share a forms or a survey forms for like post these workshops, and I want to ensure that this link is not only limited to my domain organization, and it's actually accessible to the public. So I can quickly press Command Shift N to open an incognito window and then test this out. So it's also good for you to use it for multiple account testing as well. And third, for paste without formatting. So I know it's very common for us. We all know like Control C, Control V, or Command. It's actually copy and paste. But if let's say I want to have a quick keyboard shortcuts to quickly paste without formatting, without all the headings, highlights, or the colors of the wordings, so I can quickly use Command Shift V. For example, I want to copy and paste this slide, the content of this slide, and I don't want to have these big wordings in my emails. I want to share with my teammates. So I can actually Command Shift V everything and then quickly send it out, or just paste it in my doc. And the next two, the next two are actually navigations for tabs. So as we all like to have all the different tabs open, it's actually quite a quick tricks for you to close current tabs with Command W. So you can try it out with your current browser, or if you have like zillions tab open, and you can actually navigate to and fro, left and right with Command, Option, and left right keys. So this is actually very good when I want to refer one to the other during my task. Okay, so let's go to Google Workspace too. And I want to start talking about a little bit about emails with some operational tips. So keyboard shortcuts again. Personally, I love keyboard shortcuts because after getting used to shortcuts and making it a habit, the time savings that it offers actually adds up a lot, I find. And it also integrates seamlessly to your day-to-day work as well. So in Gmail, there's actually Gmail-specific keyboard shortcuts. And the first thing you need to do is actually to enable it. So it's disabled by default. So to enable it, you need to go to the Gmail setting and enable them in the General tab, and just Control F or Command F keyboard shortcuts and ensure it's on. And goes to Advanced tab as well to enable the custom keyboard shortcuts. So I've highlighted a few here in red boxes. Some of the things that you can start using directly on your Gmail view. So you can see that you can navigate directly in the Gmail to the previous or next email from as using P button or N button, and also like some of it such as reply with R, the button R, or reply to all with A. So try some of these things, and you can even customize them. So personally, I like using 3 as the delete button instead of the pound key, and with that you can cater it according to your own preference. And here as well, like if you press C or Shift plus C, then you can have a new message draft pops out, and you can quickly type in your email and Command Enter and send out your replies. So how convenient is that? And next, let's go to multiple signatures. This is helpful if you play many different roles in your team, which many of us actually do. And maybe you are sales, maybe you are in the support team, or even if you are a manager. So you might project managing in certain projects. You might be some internal interest group leads internally, or you might be some of the team leads, and you play different roles with like different designations in it. So you can communicate with your audience and insert your respective designation in the role that you play quickly. And with this, when you type it out, for example, it's good for you to communicate. Maybe you have a project launch update, or maybe you want to share an event for your interest group. So you can quickly insert it in your draft in this button as shown here. And you can add them or edit your signatures with the manage signature button, or you can go to general settings to add them or update them accordingly. And next, let's go to can response. Similar to multiple signatures, you can actually add some of the frequently response that you have to repeat again and again. So rules of thumb is that sometimes maybe you send out emails that you find yourself have been typing out or sending similar content for more than 3 times. So maybe that's a good type of emails that you can save as kind response. And I know we do all feel like lazy to set up sometimes. Maybe we are visualizing like we need 1 hour or 2 hours and then sit down and then type out all the kind response. But I strongly recommend you to do so because it actually save your time over the long period. And the convenient thing is actually that you can save as you go. You don't need to carve out a specific time to sit down and spend time typing out all the kind response. When you draft a response that sometimes it reminds you that, hey, maybe this could save my time in the future, or maybe I could reuse this, then you can save them directly in the draft. And then just click on the 3 dots button here and save it as template and name it. So next, another underutilized features. This is something that we can attach as emails. So you can easily drag and drop emails as attachments in your email. Some of you might use Outlook before, like there are similar features in all the emails that you are trying out. So you can also download these as .eml file and keep it as attachment to use it in the future. And this will actually, why I suggest this is that because I think this one is a good way for us to be a better communicator, and it actually organizes our communications a lot. So take for example, you have a project that's going on, and maybe you need to get some approvals or a good to go indication from team leads or other managers, and at the same time you're having different threads discussing about the details with other teams. So maybe at the end of the day you want to reach out to another team to execute it. So how do you provide all these context? And this is actually a great tool and a great way to organize your communications. And also at sometimes when you can see like you can save time to communicate some of the past email threads to new team members or colleagues to help them to catch up with relevant information as well. And next, schedule send. I'm sure some of you have faced these similar situations before. Maybe you want to be courteous. I don't want to send out emails like during the weekend. I am scared of like giving a sign that I'm working all of the time. Or maybe you're working a lot with colleagues or teammates or clients across the time zones, and you don't want to ruin your work-life balance, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you send at an optimal time, not getting your email buried in their inbox. Or maybe you just forgot to send an email and need an excuse, all right? So, okay, use this at your own risk. And all these use cases, you can use schedule send, and you can schedule send at a very specific date and time. So up to minutes, and it's not very obvious. It's actually hidden under the send button in the drop down where you can click on it and then click on schedule send and then indicate the preferred date and time that you want to send out. So even after you schedule it and maybe you find out, okay, I need to change the time. I need to edit the time. And you can find it under the schedule tab button at the left-hand side and change your time accordingly after that. And next, so how many of you have experienced this before? I think it occurs to me many of the times, 10 seconds having your email sent and you're like, oh my God, you either send out to the wrong person or you might have happily tried out the keyboard shortcuts, right? Command enter to send it so quickly that you haven't actually finished your email. So, and also sometimes you forgot the attachment, like what I always do. So lucky for you, we actually have a feature called undo send. So I recommend you to enable it right away now. It's under general setting in your Gmail and enable it, and you can indicate the time cancellation, the preferred cancellation period that it will stay for it. So after you enable it, you can see there's a pop-up at the bottom left-hand corner each time you send out an email, and it will stay for the cancellation period that you indicated. Maybe it's 10 seconds, 20 seconds. And you can click on undo as long as it stays there. So once you click on it, it will save, recall your email. So this has saved my life so many times. And the maximum that you can indicate is actually 30 seconds. So if you regretted sending out at 31st second, I'm sorry, we can't help you anymore. So the maximum is 30 seconds. And next, confidential mode. So a relatively new feature for this is good for communicating highly sensitive information or data or emails that's time sensitive. So what do I mean by that? You can actually indicate the time period that this email will be available for. And after that period of time, the content will be expired and it can't be accessed anymore, even though the reader actually has the email and click into it. So you can also add on passcode if needed. And some of the use cases, like as what is shown here, maybe you are sharing very sensitive information like credit cards information, and you don't want to keep it for so long for your reader. You only want to share as needed. And it's good for you to be set a time sensitive period for this, and then to lower the risk of having, let's say, accidentally share out by the recipients after that. And the second use case is also, for example, I'm sharing out reportings, weekly reportings or monthly reportings. And some of this data will actually go stale after a period of time. And you can set the time period for this. And then after 1 month, when you share out the new version of the reports or the reports for that month, you can make the previous month's data expired, so that your readers, when they are trying to search for emails and access the data, they won't accidentally read the stale data or the outdated data. Okay, I hope you are still with me. There's a lot from one slide to another. So I will go proceed if all good. And let's go a little bit with how we can organize a little bit better and prioritize with all the overwhelming information out there. So this may look like your incoming email strands, and it goes low some days and goes like crazy some other days. And we are spending a lot of times like just looking or managing through our inbox every day. So that's why I want to share some of the tips that how I manage my inbox, incoming emails, and organize them better. And of course, this can't get away from filters, because filters, to me, if set efficiently, it's a virtual assistant that goes through all your incoming emails and then helping us to categorize them and knowing what we need to attend at the right timing. So there are so many different emails coming in every day. There may be some that you have subscribed newsletter, or there may be some important alerts, or there may be some urgent emails that need your attention right away that's addressed to you directly. So one thing that we can do is filter off the emails that you can revisit later by skipping the inbox. So how do we do that? We can create filters, and then for example, the example here that I share is maybe these are the updates, the product updates from a certain group alias that you have subscribed to. So you can skip all these and then label them as read later or FYIs only, and then skip the inbox directly. So it will automatically, it won't come into the queue in the first place. But still, it will stay in the labels, which is folders essentially. So this is as if like you are asking Gmail to automatically categorize and put this in the respective folders. And next, after we have labeled them, how do we categorize and shows the right view to help us to manage through the day? This is something that I want to introduce, the inbox settings. You can actually try out different inbox settings. And personally, I like the multiple inbox options. For example, at the left-hand side, those will be my incoming emails, and minus off those that have automatically skipped or archived from my inbox. So these are the ones that I need to go through them and decide what are important and what actions that I need to take. And the labeled ones, some of the labeled ones which I might have filter to auto apply them directly already. So this will show up in the subsequent inbox. So I can have up to 5, and I can label the scope of my work. For example, I need to, for the consultations or escalations that I need to prioritize every single day. So I put it on the top. And some of the to-dos, maybe I go through emails and then I will label this report that is needed by my manager by end of this week, or this to-do task that I need to attend to for my project. So this will appear under the to-do session. And FYI is maybe some emails that I can read later. At the later day of the day, of the later time of the day or later time of the week. And also you can have like other inbox options, maybe follow-up sections that for some emails that you need to follow up from time to time. And there are also other inbox settings. You can try it out, such as priority inbox. Some of you may prefer having unread emails first, or some of you might prefer to have the start email first. So cater according to your own preference. I've also included some of the shortcuts here, like for the keyboard shortcuts that you can try it out as well. And next, we have been talking a lot about automations like labeling and skipping the inbox. So if you are worried that you might overlook some of these important emails, let's say I personally have like 20, 30 filters by now. Maybe you're worried that, hey, how about, let's say an important email that comes in and then the filters automatically archive it and I will never see it again, and I might miss some of the important emails. So there's a quick tip here. Set a label called to me, or you can name it any other labels you want. So create a filter with your direct email in the to field, because by right, if someone indicates your email as sending directly, that means the email needs your attention, right? So with this, you have extra alert to pay attention to, and don't skip the inbox from there. And this means that these emails are the important ones that you need to read. As you can see from the image here I attached, so the inbox that comes in that's addressed directly to my email, it will be labeled as to me. And you can even set colors to it, maybe red color to brings up the alert. And next, maybe after we have this like super organized right now, and how do we get on to our task, right? So you can actually manage all the tasks and notes as you go through your emails. So all this, imagine it as like happening at the same time in your inbox. So how do I do that? Maybe during the day when I go through the emails, and if I notice something that I need to do, I want to add in my to-do list, you can drag and drop it directly at the side panel. There's a task app where you can open it up and then drag it there. So you can have different lists of your to-do list as well. You can change, like having new lists for new month or new quarter, or like personal to-do list, work to-do list, project to-do list. So all these different ones that can be managed directly in your Gmail. And this is good to provide context as well. So for example, the relevant emails that I am having for this task, when I later on, when I look, or like when I try to execute on the task, I can quickly click on the attached email and it will open up the email directly. So it gives me a lot of context and the data that I need, instead of having to search back to my email to find the right email. And also for notes, maybe I checked through the emails and I saw this great product updates that I want to share in my team meeting. So I can quickly click on the keep button and then indicate some of the notes that I want to take and then share it in my meeting, or maybe share it with my other colleagues in other meetings as well. So all these are in sync with their individual apps, not just in the panel. You can also open up keep.google.com, and this note will be in sync with other notes that you are adding in throughout the day. Maybe you are using mobile apps for keep when you're commuting, like you are adding in the notes as well. So all these comes in different days, different time of the days, and helps you to collaborate and work seamlessly as you go, right? And a few more shortcuts here. I know there's a lot, and this is not keyboard shortcuts, but rather a quick tip that you can create or pull up new draft for documents, for spreadsheets, for slides or even forms, if you type in directly in your URL bar, forms.new or docs.new, this can actually create a new draft directly. So you can even bookmark them like what I do here. So I actually bookmark these links and I pin them at the leftmost corner in my bookmark bar, and it will show as this button. So whenever I need a new slide or a new document, and this will actually when I click on it, I can just open a new tab and then click on the button to open up new doc. Okay, let's say we have managed all of our tasks now and then create all the docs and done, and we want to share slides or documents that we have, or even spreadsheets. So it's about sharing here. You can quickly open in preview mode. If you notice, some of you might have noticed already, like in your document URL, it actually usually ends with /edit because you are working on it. And if you change it directly in /preview, it will open up in preview mode, like what I show here right now. So when do we need it? Maybe you are sharing, maybe I want to share this slide in my Google site, internal site. So I can showcase this document directly as the preview mode when I embed the link in the Google site. Or maybe I want to share it to my teammates and I want them to open it and goes to the large screen nice mode that I have for preview. So you can use it for these use cases. Or if you are sharing some of the template, maybe report templates, maybe slide templates, and you don't want your colleagues to accidentally edit on your documents. So you can change it to /copy and it will appear as the make a copy button if other users click on it. So this would prevent others from messing up your documents as well. All right, there's a lot here, and let's say we have a lot of documents and slides and spreadsheets right now, especially if you are staying like a few years in the company already and the things just get adds up. So I believe you're like some of you might have difficulties to organize your Google Drive as times build out, right? So or maybe many of us we like to have like a bunch of docs with similar names, or even we are getting better at version control right now with all these different cloud tools. We like to say like, okay, underscore V1 up to maybe V20 now. Or sometimes when we want to search for documents, we forgot the exact documents to search for it. So you can actually use advanced search in Drive, and you can find it under the drop down button here in Drive, and use click on it and then use the right type of filter to search it in a better and efficient way. And I think this one occurs to me one last time. I was unable to find a spreadsheet, a report that I wanted to use it for my current project. So I want to actually refer back, and I totally forgot. It's like I think 2 years ago that I forgot to find like which name of the documents that I had, and I have difficulties to pull that out. But I remember the team alias and my teammates that I shared with back then. And then I can type that in the shared with field. And then I was actually able to find it back. And next, I want to introduce something relatively new to you for team collaboration. Maybe you are in sales or support team, or maybe you have a group alias that you manage as a team internally. Or if you don't yet, you can actually create a Google group alias from Google Group. So after you have the group alias, and you can add the relevant team members in. So you all manage the same inbox or incoming emails. And you can actually enable the collaborative inbox feature. It's under the group setting. It's actually disabled by default. So if you don't enable it, you won't have all these buttons that I highlight here in the red boxes. So these will allow you to manage the incoming requests and emails as something like tickets or emails for the request. So you can take it or assign it to your team member, or mark it as complete, or reply as yourself, or the alias or the group alias as yourself. So it's very helpful for team collaboration to manage the group emails. And let's go a little bit to chat. It's a relatively new feature. Some of you might have tried it already. So in the new Google Chat, try out some of the chatbots. just for fun, and you can try it out for efficient meeting scheduling as well. So there are some of the default ones like this Meet chatbot that we have. You can try asking the chatbot to help you to schedule a meeting, and it will automatically schedule that for you and your teammates. And you can add them like in the chat under the add button, and you find the chatbot and then add it directly in your Google Chat. Or if you have teammates who want to try out some of the build some of the customized chatbot, you can do so as well. So try to experiment a little bit of this and play around with that. Also, there's Drive chatbot as well, where I find it useful, especially when, like all of us have sometimes that we anxiously waiting for some of our teammates or some people to update the important documents, or there are some important documents that you want to know once it gets updated. So you can on the notification from here and then get alerts when the important documents are getting updated at the first hand and at the first time. So yeah. And next, let's go to rooms. A little bit of difficulties that I face is that over the time I have so many different chat rooms, and some are like go still already, or like some are new ones. And I have project chat rooms, I have like ad hoc team activities chat rooms, and maybe some of the old team chat rooms as well. So you might have like interest group where your company people like they group together and then just discuss random stuff. So you can actually pin your chat rooms or personal chats if you have like important ones that you want to attend to, because over the time the notifications or unread alerts, it gets so many that you actually lose the focus, like which one you should read first, and which one you have forgotten to check into. So if you pin the chat rooms, either the group chats or the personal chat, it will stays on top, something like our WhatsApp pin chats as well. So you can do so. And yeah, the last segment, let's go to our favorite activities, meetings. So let's talk a little bit about meetings. I think to manage our time well, I actually think that you should own your calendar. So it's okay to communicate clearly about your preference and available timings across to your teammates. All of us have different preference. We have different work lifestyle, and if you communicate it through your calendar, oftentimes people will respect it and they would get used to it as well. For example, I will schedule some of my to-dos in my calendars directly, and I also off the notifications for emails. So I block different chunks of time throughout the day to check them, because if I don't, I find myself easily lost in the distraction of the pop-up notifications as new emails coming in. So this helps me to focus a lot better. And take for example here, like you can set morning where you start planning for the day. You want to go through like the emails to know what's coming in since last night, and a quick one in the afternoon in case there are urgent emails comes in or there are tasks that comes in that need you to attend by the end of the day. And maybe last one in the evening to plan and prepare for the next day. So block your times accordingly, and you can block for focus work as well. For example, I want to complete this stack within 2 hours, like maybe in the like since last week, and I will schedule a do not schedule time block on my calendar to prepare for it. So others, when they look into your available timings, they won't schedule meetings around there. And depending on your team and work nature as well, you could try no meeting day as a team. I think it's very good for execution, to be honest, and it won't eliminate meetings entirely. Sometimes meeting still comes in, but this gives you a more polite excuse to discuss with your teammates. Like, hey, if it's not urgent, maybe we can have it on another day or on another time as well. So other will be respectful of the execution time that you have blocked for. And you can even schedule for preferred meeting slots for others to schedule sync or one-on-ones with you. Or for external clients, you can also create like calendar booking, appointments booking, and indicate like if you prefer like 15 minute slot or 30-minute slots. So according to your needs. So you can include that with the appointment link or the calendar link in your emails, and then share it with your clients. And yeah, a few last things about calendar hacks and tactics. I think if it's not enabled by default, or like if it's not checked by default, try to give edit access to your teammates by whenever you send out the calendar invite, especially if others can view your availability or your calendar. This actually empowers them to find a suitable time that suits everyone, instead of having to email or discuss to and fro. And maybe there are some also some teammates who never respond to your calendar invite, right? And so it's also good to try respond whenever you have invites is sent for a reason. And even if you're unsure, like I don't know if I can make it, just note down like maybe, or indicate a note so that others can know what they are expecting, how many people they're expecting, or when they can start, or how long they have to wait for more. So a few things like this actually help us to collaborate better, and we all can increase our efficiency like together as well. And a few other things is that if you work across time zones very often with clients or your teammates, you can indicate your working hours in the calendar settings. So what you do is that after you indicate the working hours, when your either your teammates from other time zones, they schedule a meeting accidentally at your like maybe midnight of your time, they will get warned, and they would actually know better, like because sometimes we lose the time zone concepts from our point of view, and it's very difficult for us to like search, hey, what's the time now in, I don't know, yeah, US East Coast time, something like that. So you can try some of these to help them easier. And also, if you have teammates across different time zones, and you always need to schedule meetings or know their time around what time is it now, so you can enable some of the work clock, and it will shows up at the left hand bar here, as I highlight in the red box. So for example, I had teammates in Sydney last time, where I always need to schedule meeting with them. And then it's very convenient for me to know, hey, actually for now it's 5 p.m. my time, and it's what time on their end. So a few things that actually helps me to get their time easily. And last one, for out of office, there's actually a out of office function where if you out of office, you can indicate like maybe 17th day of the month and up to 21st, and then it will allows you to automatically decline all the new meetings that comes in. And even if you have already accepted some of those, you can ask after when you indicate like out of office function, you can ask them to decline all the accepted meetings as well. So this is actually helpful because sometimes we schedule or like we arrange our out of office, but we forgot to update the invites or events that we have responded earlier on. So this is actually a helpful function. Let's talk a little bit about Meet. I think all of these are quite familiar to us, like with the functionalities of Meet. And I just want to share some of these that you might not tried it out yet. So you can actually start a meeting directly from Gmail, or join a meeting which if you click on the button here, like in Gmail, it will pull your calendar meeting, and you will see like the schedule of which, and then click on join to join that directly from your Gmail view. And also, many of us forgot sometimes. I know this is a very simple thing, but add a video conferencing right when you share out the calendar invites. Because if it's not enabled by default, sometimes I forgot about it. And this prevents some last minute communications about which link should we join, or even if like when other guests are added to the calendar invites, they would be able to get the links to join directly. And next, I personally have a habit of attaching relevant documents in the calendar invites that I've scheduled for, be it team meeting notes or presentation slides that I need to share during the meetings. So if you have the attachments attached to your calendar invite, it's very convenient because I don't have to take time to find the respective document later. And it actually helps to save a lot of time instead of having to go back and then search for it. And if you have attached that, you can pull them out directly after you join the meeting. You don't have to go back to the calendar link and then find the attachment link from there. You can actually pull up it directly from the left hand bottom button here, as shown here, and then click on it directly. So it will pull up the respective, the relevant documents. And Meet also includes a lot of other features to improve the quality of your video conferences, such as like adaptive layouts, which I think many of you use Zoom, and these are quite similar to all this. And you can use as needed and help your attendees to focus what is important. And also live closed captions. This is actually something that use the speech recognition technology, and it will show up the captioning as you or your meeting attendees speak or discuss with each other. And noise cancellation as well. We all have like neighbors who love to renovate or producing beautiful noise when we are in meetings sometimes. So use the noise cancellation. It helps you to get off like the background noise. And you can also adjust it based on your connective bandwidth limitations as well. So I think all of us have different connectivity issues. And personally, I experienced it like over the last year where I work remotely from another country. My internet bandwidth wasn't ideal. And it's surprising how stressful that was, especially when sometimes I have to host a meeting and it gets to a large group. Like I remember for any meetings that has more than 3 people, I'll freeze half of the time. So this actually helps me to adjust it according to my bandwidth connectivity. And it gives you a best meeting experience to you and your teammates. And because it could get like frustration sometimes when someone is not connected and drop off and so on and so forth. So you can try out some of these that shows audio only or shows one video at a time and as whoever that speaks out. Yeah. And this is a quick tip that you can track attendance for your meeting. For example, our team likes to appoint the latecomer to be the next host. And this would comes in handy. Like instead of having me to note down, okay, who is the last one who pops out and then attend the meeting, you just need to enable the attendance tracking under the host control if you are the host. And this option will be available for you. And at the end of the meeting, you will receive an email with the Google spreadsheets as shown here, with information like emails, what time the person joined the meeting and exited the meeting. So if you have recurrence meeting, you only need to enable it once and it will automatically track it the next time. So this is something that's helpful, but it's not good if you have like teammates who micromanage the meeting attendance, right? And so for bigger meetings, team meetings, like town halls, trainings, conferences, global conferences, admins can actually enable live streaming for the organization to use it. And from the admin console itself, if you are Google admins, you can actually select who you want to allow to stream their meetings. So this can allow up to 100,000 attendees using the live stream. And sometimes we have conferences or like global town halls where other people from different time zones might not be able to join. So you can record your meetings or the trainings for the contents for others to watch later. And in the meeting, you can find it under the 3 dots button and click on record meeting and then click stop to finish. And after that, the recording files link will be sent to your email or whoever that started the recording. And it will also be saved in the Drive folder automatically. So the organizers can find the recording files in their Drive folder as well. I think that's all that I have today. I know it's a long and packed tips and tricks. I hope some of you learn some things new today. I know maybe some of you already know a part of it and so on and so forth. But there are so many other tips and tricks about Google Workspace in general. Like it's all available in the Learning Center online, such as how you can analyze data more easily, collaborate using documents and sheets better, or even about sharing of data, which I couldn't cover all of them today. So I'm just picking out a few tips that we can use personally or some of the practice that we can start practicing to increase our productivity and be more efficient as a team. So, and also like I would encourage you to explore some of the more advanced stuff as well, be it as a team or company. you can try to find some of the interesting use cases, like streamlining, simplifying some of your workflow and processes in your companies using all these different tools like forms, documents, and you can also automate a certain part of it using app scripts if you have technical team members who know how to code, and for more advanced usage as well. So I would encourage you to go to the Google Workspace Learning Center to find out more information and the tips to share there. And I will end today's session with a quick video, a very quick and casual video about how a team can work remotely for some of the casual activities that they have. All right, 1 second, let me play it. All right. Thank you all. And thanks for, let me stop sharing my screen. Yeah, thank you all for your attention and time. And I hope this is helpful. And please let me know like if you have any questions.
This has been really great, Aoife, and we got 2 questions saying that, hey, will we be able to view this presentation again, because this was like packed with information. I mean, it was like a treasure trove of all the hacks that we need. And I was mentioning to my team as well that, hey guys, take notes, because this will help us as well. We use Google Suite and the other tools actively every day. So folks who all are listening to this discussion, please put in your questions in the Q&A box. This was really interesting, and we would be sharing a YouTube link. We'll be uploading this recording on YouTube, and we'll be sharing that link with you tomorrow, so that you could keep viewing it, pausing it, understanding it, and taking it ahead. I had one question. You know, for a person who hasn't used all these tools before, 2 things. One tip that you could give of how do we begin if there's a new, I think there will be hardly any newcomer to the Google world, but nonetheless, that's one. And which are the 2 or 3 key tools that we should have it in our pockets? That's one. And my second question would be that, do you often do these trainings where they could tap on, not the Google tool, we have that, we'll put it on YouTube, but the other tools? So we've shared some links, but are there any links that you think are useful for folks to, you know, tap onto and understand, and if they face any issues, to have somebody help them out with?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Sidhi. I think for the first question, for those who just started out using Google Workspace, it depends on whether you are switching from other tools. If you are switching for other tools, there's actually also resources that's in Google Workspace Learning Center that helps you to find the similar tools and buttons. So for example, I've been familiarized myself with other tools, and I want to find what is it actually something that it's the correlate ones in Google Workspace. So in Google Workspace Learning Center, which I will share later on for the links, these are actually helpful resources for you to understand from your personal context for the tools that you have been using. And if you are just starting out like without using anything, and something that I would encourage is to use, other than emails, because all of us have like maybe managing some of the emails, you can use it for personal life, like organizing your personal life stuff. For example, using Google Tasks and calendars to schedule your personal day. So what I do last time is that I actually combine my personal calendar and my work calendar at the same time. So it actually doesn't have to be work-life balance, right? I can integrate both together. And by using my personal, organizing my personal life around using like calendar, because many of us, we are all familiar with like creating to-do tasks, to-do lists, and managing a list of tasks and so on and so forth. But I felt like using calendar and also Google Tasks at the same time to integrate all these tasks that we need to do and actions that we need to take. And in Google Calendar, block by block, it actually helps us to familiarize with all these too. Yeah, and you can see like if you relate it to your day-to-day activities, it helps you a lot. Like for example, I want to go to buy something like milk and bread at the same time. So all these things that can be added in Google Calendar as well, or your task list. So it doesn't necessarily have to be work related. Yeah.
Brilliant. So that means calendar, and one thing that is tasks, which
Yeah.
can, and you could bifurcate between your professional work and your personal work, and it can go seamless so that you
Yeah.
can manage both sides together. That's a
Yeah.
brilliant tip, Aoife. And with that, I would like to thank you for spending your Tuesday evening with us and sharing all these amazing tools. I just saw Lewis has shared that link for everyone. So folks, you could please look at the chat and see the link that Lewis has sent for the tools. And before we close, we are going to launch a quick poll to help us create much more interesting sessions like this and get sought after speakers like EFI and help the SMEs and the startups to go to the next phase of their journey together. So thank you so much, and thank you so much, EFI. So then let's launch the poll before we close.
Thank you everyone for your time today. And thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, EFI. See you everyone. Bye-bye.